Every 300 years, a colossal ancient demon snake reincarnates, seizing control of a member of the Kumō family. This malevolent curse transforms the Chosen One into the most formidable demon lord, driven solely by the desire to obliterate the world. Our story begins with the Kumō family, who had worked really hard and is now sharing the joy of their newborn. Tenka, the oldest son, is told by his parents that he has become Oni-chan and will have to protect our ugly, disgusting protagonist named Sora. The family continued to work hard at night. Eventually, they got another younger brother. However, one night, a mysterious guy wearing a fox mask sneaks into their house and murders their parents while they were mating again to bring out their fourth son. The masked guy strangles Sora, stating it's his fault that his parents died. Tenka appears, hearing his brother's cries, and tries to fight the guy, noticing everyone is in danger. Even his baby brother, Sora, picks up the family sword to fight back. The masked guy turns onto him and attacks. Tenka tries to push his brother away, but gets his back sliced by the enemy's sword. Sora starts crying after noticing Tenka's injury, but the big bro smiles at him, telling him he should smile because he will always carry his worries and burdens. The masked guy escapes, and the three brothers manage to stay alive. Some years have passed, and the brothers are now capturing and transferring criminals to the Goki-Manjo prison, an inescapable prison where the criminals were detained after going on a rampage because of the new law forbidding the carrying of swords. Since the traumatic night, Sora has been plagued with his memories and trains to get to the level of his bro, who is far stronger than him and who only uses a useless fan as his weapon to avoid injuring anyone. Some policemen arrive and ask for help to capture an escaped criminal. Tenka tells Sora and Chutro to stay behind, making Sora feel like he's being treated like a kid. Tenka simply doesn't want his brothers to be in danger. He always refuses to train Sora. Sora, on the other hand, simply looks up to Tenka and doesn't recognize his own strength. After Tenka leaves, Sora insists that he and Chutro follow behind to aid the situation. They find themselves in the forest, where they spot the criminal and run after him. Sora comes to fight and beats the guy, feeling proud of himself for taking down a criminal without needing Tenka's help or protection. He turns away, but the criminal wakes up again and attacks Sora from behind, strangling him. Sora loses consciousness thinking that he's dying, but Tenka saves him. The day ends with the oldest carrying his younger brother home on his back. Sora cries, feeling inadequate more than ever now that he was not strong enough to beat even one guy. While his brother had defeated many, Tenka lets him cry his heart out, seeing it as his responsibility to make his brothers feel better and safe at all costs. The next day, Sora goes to the doctor for his wounds and medicine. He returns home and sees a stranger named Naoto trying to persuade Chutro to go with him to Goki-Manjo. Sora immediately stops Chutro, pretending to be Tenka, and sends him to get Shirasu, their close friend and housekeeper. Naoto attacks him, and Sora gets his behind handed to him by Naoto over again, making him realize how weak he is against real bad guys. He runs away, but Naoto follows behind, revealing his weapon of multiple blades, and tries to stab him. Shirasu finally comes and defends him. They fight at light speed, and he beats Naoto to the ground, who gets up and keeps on attacking. Fortunately, Tenka arrives on time at the scene and helps them. He faces Naoto head-on and beats him up, but the guy doesn't give up. But as soon as he tries to get up again, the Yamanu squad arrives and takes him down. At home, Sora overhears a conversation between Tenka and Baten and asks what the Araki is. But as always, Tenka blows him off because he wants to protect him. Sora gets annoyed that Tenka is treating him like a kid. He vows to become much stronger so that Tenka can also rely on him. He goes back to his usual routine of training. Tenka continues to be the responsible brother that he must be and meets with a hot MILF of Yamanu, a government force that is dedicated to finding the demon Iraqi and destroying it, which was once a part of alongside his father, who was the founder. The next day, Sora goes to the Yamanu's office to ask for Sozai, the commander of the squad and Tenka's former friend, to train him so that he can become a great swordsman. But Sozai kicks him out because of how Tenka betrayed him by leaving the squad. Another member of the Yamanu called Lang drops by and offers to train him if Sora goes undercover to Gakimanjo to find information about the prisoners. Sora agrees and goes to the prison while disguised in a wig. He goes inside as an inmate. He snoops around and eavesdrops on a conversation between Naoto and someone, but gets caught and thrown into the room. The man inside the room reveals himself wearing a fox mask. It's the masked man who had murdered Sora's parents. Sora strangles him and the man hits him against the wall, knocking him out. He wakes up at a clinic after a female guard found him unconscious. She asks about the man in the room and wants to form an alliance with Sora to get info about him and get her revenge. After returning home, Tenka gives him an earful about putting his life in danger for an ugly MILF who could be using him. The next day, Sora still goes to report to the Yamanu. He reports to Sozai, who is initially not interested, but when he hears the information, he agrees to take him under his wing and train him. He wakes up the next morning after another brutal nightmare and crying about the past and being weak. Meanwhile, Tenka finally reveals a secret to Baton, Shirasu, and the doc that he's the Araki's vessel. Later, when Sora returns home, he hears Chutro crying about Tenka, who had been arrested. Botan reveals that their oldest brother is the vessel of Araki, the demon snake, and will be executed before the demon can take over him completely and go on its rampage. Sora and Shutaro run to the execution point to find Tenka, who will be executed by Harari. Tenka sees his little brothers fighting the guards to get in, while he's talking to Sozai, who wants to know the truth about his desertion. They run up to him and cry for him not to go. But Tenka hugs them and says goodbye to them, telling them to always smile, even in the face of adversity. Everyone in town appears and tries to stop the execution by defending Tenka. He's the town hero. He's always been the one who helped people and fiercely protected his little brothers. But Tenka, being the goof that he is, tells them to get a life and walks head held high right to his demise. A week after Tenka's death, the omnipresent clouds over town are still there, no sun in sight. Sora asks Shirasu why the town's condition hasn't improved when the Araki vessel is already dead. But even he doesn't know. He goes out and meets Chutaro, who's very sad about his brother's death. He misses him so much because he looks up to him as a hero, and Sora comforts him. He sees it as his responsibility now to get stronger to protect his little brother and the family name. He goes to train with Sozai, but he can't stop thinking about his brother and gets distracted, causing him to get beaten up. He goes back home feeling defeated and considers quitting. He can't just smile as Tenka used to, nor can he become as strong as he used to. Chutaro hears the conversation between Sora and Shirasu about how Tenka was strong enough to bear the murder of their parents and got severely injured protecting him. Chutaro, who was told that their parents died from sickness, starts to ask questions about it, but just like Tenka used to do, Sora doesn't answer him. The youngest brother runs away sad, feeling left out, and goes to look for the already dead Tenka. In the middle of looking for Chutaro, Sora finds the female guard, Nishiki, injured and brings her home to get treated. The usual two policemen come to ask for help from Sora about an escaped criminal, forcing him to come out and look for the criminal just like in old times. But he doesn't find it easy. Nishiki comes out and tries to help because she's a Fuma, the ninja clan Shirasu was a part of before they were wiped out. Sora tells her to do whatever she wants, and she decides to stick around after successfully apprehending the criminal. The next day, Sora decides that he will continue training, even if he doesn't become as strong as Tenka was, but as long as he's able to protect his little brother Shutaro. Later, he meets Naoto, who had escaped from Gakimanjo. He tells him that Tenka was killed, and he starts crying, finally understanding the truth. Naoto tries to convince and influence Shutaro to seek revenge on the people who killed his brother, the government. The next morning, Sora wakes up strangling Nishiki from a nightmare and quickly apologizes, when suddenly Sozai appears, coming to visit him. He tells him about what the Araki really is, and how Tenka was able to act so fast since many previous vessels did not even realize that they harbored the demon snake before it was too late. But another member of the Yamanu, Takeda, comes to inform Sozai that their comrade, Takamine, was brutally attacked last night just nearby. He starts blaming Sora for being so weak that people could get so easily attacked near his house. Later, while going through his stuff, Sora finds blood on his clothes, which he doesn't remember getting. He suddenly gets flooded with flashbacks of the previous night when Takamine was attacked. He remembers being the one who attacked him and realizes that his brother sacrificed himself for him, as he finds out that he is the real vessel of the Araki. Meanwhile, Shirasu found out Botan is a vessel that reincarnates every 300 years to seal away the Araki. Learning that she will get in the way of resurrecting the Araki, Shirasu stabs her. He tells her his plans since he came to the Kumō shrine to keep an eye on the vessel. He knew from the start that Tenka would be killed and was in on it this whole time. Sora runs to Sosei and shows him the curse marks on his body and asks to be killed before he fully transforms. But Sosei stops him from going frantic and talks him out of it. The Fuma ninjas start surrounding the Yamanu office looking for their master Orochi. The squad heads outside to fight off the clan, and Sosei leaves Sora inside with Takeda and goes to fight too. But the masked man from the prison comes through a window and knocks Takeda out. He reveals that he's Shirasu's twin brother and that he wasn't the one who killed his parents. It was Shirasu. Sora struggles to comprehend, and the man tries to attack him. But Shirasu appears and stops his twin brother from attacking their lord's vessel. They bow down to Sora and introduce themselves as the ones who will serve him in his havoc. Conflicted at being betrayed by a man he had trusted, Sora tries to run away, but Shirasu stops him, and they take him away. Meanwhile, Chutro is still hanging with Naoto, who's telling him to kill some women to show that he's serious about getting revenge for his brother. However, Chutro can't do it. Suddenly, a group of bandits surround the women, but a hooded man appears and saves them, and is revealed to be Tenka. Tenka gets captured and wakes up, held up like a prisoner, after having a sweet nightmare about when he became a big brother to two boys who would later turn into the Araki. It is revealed that Tenka was heavily injured when Shirasu murdered his parents. His desire to protect his little brothers made him accept a proposal to become a test subject. He was injected with a special substance made from Araki cells. The substance quickly healed his wounds and merged with him, turning him into a fake vessel. Botan comes and tells him that Shirasu had betrayed them because he wants to serve the Araki whose vessel is Sora. Tonka breaks himself free of his chains and goes to save his brothers. Meanwhile, Sora as the Araki showcases his immense strength by destroying the Gokimanjo prison with a single blast. Nishiki goes to him and vows her loyalty to him. She tells him about the Kumō family's twin swords that can separate the Araki from its vessel. Wanting to save Sora from his doom, she takes and runs away with the swords, giving her loyalty to Sora and her revenge instead of the Fuma clan. Chutro finally gets away from Naoto, who was attacking him. Saved by his pet raccoon, a familiar that can magically grow in size, they bump into Nishiki, who is being chased down by Orochi. But as soon as he catches up, the Yamanu appears too and intercepts. Botan arrives and tells Chutro to lead Orochi through a tunnel into the sun in Kyoto, where the Orochi will burn under the sunlight. They run there, but hit a dead end, and Araki catches up to them. He unleashes attacks on Chutro, but the twin swords imbued with magic spells protect him and repel the Araki away. The top of the tunnel crashes in, and Tenka appears, calling out to his brothers. The sun hits Orochi, burning him and making him run away. Tenka chases after him to fight. Orochi escapes through the roof of the tunnel, but gets caught by Sosei, who stops him with Tenka's help. Chutaro strikes Orochi on the stomach with the twin swords, and the demon snake escapes from Sora's body, rising into the clouds. Sora wakes up and sees that Tenka is alive and playfully punches him for putting him through hell. They tell him that he needs to defeat the Araki, as he is the vessel. They run after the Araki. The sky opens, and the Araki emerges and starts to destroy the town with its power. Sora finally arrives where the Araki is, and Shirasu tries to make the snake kill him. But Chutro, along with Tenka and Harari, quickly come to his rescue. Shirasu's twin brother appears and grabs Tenka and Sosei, jumping into the Arachi's mouth. Sora continues the fight, having lost his brother for the second time. But Tenka reappears, and along with the Yamanu and the townspeople, they fight back against the enemies at full force. The sight motivates Sora to stand up to the demon snake. He unsheathes the Abe sword and strikes the monstrous Oraki, finally realizing he reached his goal: to become stronger than Tenka and be able to protect his brothers. With the help of Chutaro and Tenka, they successfully kill and seal the Araki away for good. The sky clears, and the fight is over. Tenka goes to talk to Shirasu, demanding an explanation. But he only looks on at the three brothers regretfully, reminiscing on the peaceful time they've spent together as a family. Tells them goodbye and falls off the cliff. But that's where this video closes. Thanks for watching, and also do mention in the comment section if there is anything that I should be improving on my channel. See you all in the next recap. Goodbyes until then.